The UK, specifically Scotland, Glasgow, has been given the go-ahead for the first ever drug-controlled route where you can legally do drugs.
The first drug consumption rooms have been given the green light in Scotland, where
Government are putting in 7 million into creating a room where people can do Class A drugs.
In the month of September, there was a lot of dialogue about the banning of xlbullies.
These dog attacks, like, they're literally getting out of hand now. Like before, you know, you were seeing it, but I'm seeing something like every single week now, pretty much, where it's like, xlbully killed someone else. I'm thinking, whoa, like.
The UK Prime Minister came out and actively made a statement.
It's clear this is not about a handful of badly trained dogs. It's a pattern of behaviour, and it cannot go on.
Transgender people aren't allowed to use like the opposite sex bathrooms. And so like said like word for word, like a man is a man and a woman is a woman. So that was like literally Rishi Sunak's words, like.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 2 of Philoso3, the Critical Thinking Podcast. So this episode, we're going to jump straight into some nice, juicy political topics because we'll have a bit of that. So yeah, we've got quite a few different stuff we want to touch on this episode in terms of like policy. But I guess the main coherent theme of this episode is basically like state paternalism and the extent to which a state should intervene in social matters and social affairs, and the extent to which it shouldn't, and basically the extent to which the British government, the country that we're in, obviously, the British government has been doing that based off of things that have happened in recent months and recent weeks. Does anyone want to...
Just
Let's dive in.
Yeah, just in terms of like how involved we should let the government get involved in our personal life. And dogs, drugs, and trans.
Yeah, basically, this episode's all things dogs, drugs, and trans. So the first topic we wanted to talk about is the banning of xlbullies. So over the last few months, and particularly in the month of September, there was a lot of dialogue about the banning of xlbullies, and Sunak actually came out. Rishi Sunak, the UK Prime Minister, came out and actively made a statement about how they're going to ban them, basically. I don't know exactly the timeline, but I believe by the end of the year, the legislation will be that all American xlbully dogs will be illegal. And I think they give till 2025 for them to all be put down. I think that's it. So
be prepared, innit, if you've got one at home.
And any similar breeds or any of their like original breeds or something like that, like. But basically, the government is having a crackdown on owners of xlbully dogs. Or no, I don't know if they'll be put down. Maybe they'll be put down by 25. I don't know, something like that. But basically, the owners have to,
or some kind of regulation.
Yeah, will have to have a license to own any bullies or whatever, and then they'll have to also put a muzzle on them when they go out. So those are like the regulations. But I think there is something about them being put down eventually if they do something.
If they don't comply or something.
Yeah, if they don't comply. Exactly, if they don't have the license. I guess that's what we wanted to break down today. We are people that are quite passionate about this topic because even before the whole of the UK was talking about xlbullies, we've been talking about it in our own little circle.
Aki's been squad.
Yeah, I've had a couple of runners with dogs where it's been life threatening. Like there's actually been not even just like, you know, just a little chase. No, dogs, like I've come across some very mad dogs, especially like the big aggressive dogs. And xlbullies are probably like the most aggressive dog out there because of the way they're breeding and stuff like that. They've got like multiple, and then they've got like multiple mixes just to create one like aggressive machine.
Ultra.
What ultra aggressive?
xlbully.
xlbully.
It's in the name, like.
Bro,
You know.
American bully, and it's a fucking extra large version of an American bully. It's so.
It's breeded for the size.
I think it's unnecessary in it, but I guess we're gonna go into more detail in a more structured way. But
yeah, and it's funny, like we said, we've been talking about this for like a long time actually, because ever since IK got almost got attacked by a dog in it, like 6 months ago now.
Yeah.
I remember him saying, "Oh yeah, guys, something mad happened this weekend, and he got chased down with his friends. So it's like, that's something.
I imagine it was a chihuahua or something.
No, bro.
No, I think it was a bully. It was a bully.
It was dark, innit? It was dark, so I don't know the breed. Nah, but this was a big dog. Like, you know, it's the type of dog, yeah, when it barks, like his whole body shakes, bro. Cause bro, like, his whole body is shaking. I was like, wow. Nah. So
what's it, his whole body?
It's on stuff.
Yeah, it's on stuff. Like,
because you know certain dogs will like bark, but they're making like they're not really on it like that. But this one was like on violence.
It's on violence, bro. This was a big dog as well. Bear in mind, there's like 7 of us as well, but yo, this dog would have taken all of us. Like, this was a big dog. A big angry dog.
No, that's scary. And I don't know. I've recently been getting like really scared of dogs because obviously you guys know that I like dogs overall more than cats. But recently I've been reevaluating because I was really not a cat person. But one thing about cats, a cat can't kill me. Like, a cat can't really kill me the way a dog can.
Hey, the scratches are lethal. Though.
Okay, yeah, okay.
But I mean, it's not the same.
But like the likelihood.
I'm gonna say like, I'm
They'll bite you and grab a hold of you. It's done. It's done.
Your flesh, bro.
The arm is done.
Nah, it's true.
And obviously, yeah, so this is something we've been talking about as a friendship group for a while. We've always made it apparent that, like, yeah, these dogs can go. I'm joking. But them dogs, but no, not really. But, like, obviously, yeah, they like, if you're violent, what the hell, like, go, man.
Yeah.
Like, why are you killing people? So when this conversation came up in September, like a national conversation almost, like dialogue, it was really like, oh, shit, we've been talking about this. And obviously, I know Ian... can't remember the name of the surname of the guy that died, but I think it was his death especially. It was a man somewhere in the UK, and he was defending his elderly mother from a dog in the back garden, and it was 2 dogs, I think, and they started attacking him, and literally everyone else tried to help, like tried to like get bins to like push the dogs away, but the dogs were attacking him, and he literally bled out and died.
These dog attacks, like, they're literally getting out of hand now. Like before, you know, you were seeing it, but I'm seeing something like every single week now, pretty much, where it's like, oh, xlbully killed someone else. I'm thinking, whoa, like I can't lie, Rishi Sunak, hey, you gotta do something, man.
Crack down.
Like, credit to you, man. But I don't like you, but yeah, like,
you know what?
You got this one right.
Yeah, exactly.
On this topic here, like, especially with the way it's put out in the media, yeah.
I'm right wing now. When it comes to that, bro.
Because I know how the media works, yeah. Because xlbullies is in everybody's mouths. Like, they're thinking, okay, when one person dies with xlbully, we're gonna put out there because that's what everybody's talking about. So the media might be trying to make it worse than it actually is.
It is a distraction.
But just of what we've seen online, it's bad enough. Like,
It's bad enough. Even in America, bro.
there's too many stories, like especially the one in Birmingham when the guy was running around. I mean, not the guy.
The little girl.
Yeah, when the girl when she.
The 11-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think there was a video. I think it was in Birmingham when.
It was all the same one.
Was it all that
It was
same
all
one?
the same one. The dog bit the little girl, and then when other people tried to help her,
Exactly.
it started chasing all the man them around. Bro.
This is because of this particular type of dog. Because of, like, we shouldn't just ban. There's a reason why all dogs aren't being banned. It's this particular dog that is bred to just be more aggressive. And we live in Britain. Like, why do you need a dog that is that aggressive? Why do you need like a dog that's that big, that's that like fierce? Like,
yeah, you could actually get any other dog out there, and you to specifically get that one. But really and truly, the reason why that dog even came about in the first place is because drug dealers use them a lot of the time to defend themselves. Because, you know, if you think about it, you know, if you've got that dog there with you, you know, you're less likely.
To rob you.
Yeah, exactly. You're less likely to get robbed and stuff because people are like, hey, fuck that. I'm not trying to get involved. You know, I'm not trying to get, you know, my chest ripped apart and stuff. So yeah, like, people are worried that. So you, as a law-abiding normal citizen, why are you specifically getting that dog? There's like Labradors, there's German Shepherds, there's lots of lovely dogs, you know, like the corgis, you know, all of those, and you decide to get an xlbully. Like, it makes no sense to me, like, me personally. They're cute dogs, don't get it twisted, but like, they're units and they're little.
I don't know if I said that.
I wouldn't say they're cute, but okay, whatever. If that's what we're doing.
I think they're cute, like, they're all right and stuff. But people are acting like, oh, dogs haven't been banned before and stuff. Like, pit bulls are banned. Like, you know, it's no, you know, this is nothing new.
It's not the first time this has happened. It's just that, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't deserve the outrage that it's getting. And I always put human lives over dog lives, you know.
Well, yeah, that's what we're going to segue into.
Because this is the critical thinking podcast. Obviously, we might think that it's okay to ban these dogs, but not everybody else would. And we need to think about why that would be a problem for people.
Exactly.
And I guess, especially with people who like have these American xlbullies and like it's part of their family now. And people say it's not all xlbullies. And a question that we want to talk about as always, like, should the actions of some xlbullies mean that all of them
Dog racism.
Dog racism.
Dogism.
No, but should the action of like some xlbullies like cause all xlbullies to be banned? Which, I mean, you can look at it
It's
through
a fair argument.
It's a fair argument, you know what I mean? Especially because not all of them are going to be aggressive, but the point is they're just more prone to be aggressive.
Yeah. I think it's like almost 2/3, or at least over half of all dog attacks in the past, like, you know, few years have been xlbullies.
And in terms of dog
dog deaths.
and people, people dying because of a dog, like, yes, like xlbullies especially.
It's disproportionately them.
Because people will say, oh, like I've read on Twitter, for example, people say, oh, you know, chihuahuas are very aggressive and stuff like that.
Shut up.
Whereas a chihuahua, like, bro, like, I'm not gonna lie, if a chihuahua's trying to attack you, you're gonna handle it. You know, you can boot it and, you know, it's gonna fly. But a flipping xlbully now, like, it's a completely different story, you know.
You're not getting that shit off you.
Like,
I remember the video I sent you guys, that girl in Kennington, like Southwark.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
South London.
yeah, but that guy had 3 dogs though. Why did you have? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, people
They
aren't
weren't letting
thinking,
go.
but people aren't thinking logically though, because like unless you're like a dog sitter or something, why do you actually own 3 like xlbullies? Like,
But
it's so
even these
excessive,
dog
bro.
walkers, there was a woman who's a dog walker. Her own dog killed her. She was walking with like 4 or 5 dogs.
That's not funny.
You know, I remember that time that Estelle was telling us, that I think it was in France,
Oh yeah, that woman that went through the...
That woman that went through some park, and there was like bear dogs or something.
In the mountains. And there was, I read this story because there was one day a couple months ago.
RIP to her, I'm sorry. Like, just, you know, she got like ravaged by like 60 dogs or something.
Yeah, no,
She
like
got-
bear. And I went on I was going through like a day of just looking at dog attacks. I just went down a mad chain, and I found that there's this woman in France that literally was walking through the mountains, and she was pregnant, like 7 months pregnant.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's not even funny.
I
Like,
feel bad for
it's
laughing.
not even funny. And then,
I didn't know she was pregnant, man. I'm sorry.
oh wait, does that make it different?
Nah, but like, it makes it a bit worse.
She's
though.
still
It
dying
does,
either
like,
way. But yeah, apparently she called her partner, like, on the vibe of like, yo, like, should I walk down here?
not
I'm seeing,
looking good.
because I think they're doing sheep training or whatever. You know when dogs catch sheep or whatever, like bulldogs catch sheep. Yeah. So she was scared, innit? And I think she just kept on walking, and then they attacked her. So yeah, like, at the end of the day, like, I feel like with dogs, as much as we domesticate them and we bring them into our family and we say, oh yeah, they're a family member, we dress them up in cute little Christmas jumpers, they're still animals, bro. They're still animals, and they will never have the same understanding and the same value of human life as we do, or as most humans do anyways. So I feel like we need to take that with a pinch of salt, and we need to recognize that, like, a lot of these xlbully dog owners are really defensive. Like, don't take it personally. Like, no one's saying your dog itself is a killer, but we're saying that this breed is responsible for a lot of the dog deaths, dog attack. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's in its nature at the end of the day.
That's not related to dog attacks, innit?
Yeah, 100%. And I can't lie, like, you know, maybe your dog hasn't, you know, been acted out recently, but, you know, the fact that you can trust maybe your baby or your toddler around the dog is just crazy, because one day your dog could actually lose it. You never know, like, maybe the toddler's pulling on its tail or something, then it just, you know, bugs out and just bites it. You know, it's still a vulnerable child at the end of the day. It's like, you know, you learn when you're dead kind of thing.
Yeah.
The thing is, like,
When
it
it's
doesn't
too late.
even really need that provocation, because dogs are smart. Like, obviously they're smart animals and stuff, but at the end of the day, like, it's a dog. Like, it's
still
like,
animals.
they could just bug out one day. Like, it's just like, this baby, like, why did I
You're just pissing me off.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, why did I just bite?
That's
Like,
when we get intrusive thoughts.
yeah, intrusive thoughts.
Like, do it.
Just bite it. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
The dog would just be like, that baby looking juicy.
Bro, and especially these xlbullies who are just more prone to that stuff as well. So I don't think there's no need to just have them on the streets. You could get another dog. You don't need an American xlbully. You don't live in the fucking jungle. Like, you don't need to protect yourself 24/7.
No, facts.
But I guess, like you said, on the topic of, you know, just, you know, devil's advocate and whatnot, like, obviously us three all prioritize human life above dog life, innit? But like, where does that come from? Like, why do we, like, you know, bringing it back to the government, why is it the government can say, yeah, we're gonna ban these dogs? Like, obviously we know it's because they're killing people, but like, why is it that human life, people kill people every day? Why is it that dogs should die because they're killing people, and like why is it that human life supersedes dog life? Arguably, you know, why are we above animals? You know?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, like I guess the easy answer would be because, like, you know, it's a lot easier for governments to do that, you know, than obviously stopping like humans from killing each other. I guess that's the easy. Like I said before, I think it's a distraction at the same time. Like I do think a lot of the time it is kind of put in your face and stuff to kind of distract you, because that's a tactic that the government do all the time to try and, you know, distract you from like the real life issues, you know, such as like cost of living crisis. Because now, you know, the conversation changes now, and now you're talking about, you know, dogs and dog attacks and stuff like we are, for example, you know. So yeah, like it is even effective because look, we're sat down here now. Exactly. So yeah, it is an effective tactic. But in terms of with the, you know, why is human life more valuable than dog life? I mean, I guess for me, for example, personally, I mean, like I don't have a dog and stuff, but I've got like lots of friends, I've got family and stuff. So I guess it's like more easier to relate to, you know, like than me and a dog. I mean, I like dogs, don't get it twisted, but it's like I don't feel like I have a certain loyalty to them.
Over
if that
yourself.
Makes sense. Yeah, exactly. And over like actual human beings that I actually care about, because I know that makes sense.
I think a lot of it is also tied into like religion and like this idea that, you know, God gave us stewardship over animals, and therefore we are like the keepers of the earth, and like we have dominion over these dogs. Therefore, our life is always going to be more valuable than animals, which I don't mind personally. I'm not complaining. Shit.
You know what it is, yeah. Like I feel like the use of muzzles would solve a lot of problems. Like if you just have an American xlbully, just put a muzzle over it when it's outside, basically, when it's walking around. Because I mean, sure, it might make the dog uncomfortable, but would you prefer the dog to be uncomfortable or the dog to eat somebody? Yeah. And then the dog gets put down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
you're saving the dog.
It's an easy decision.
It's an easy decision, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, it's true. Even with like the whole leash thing as well, like, you know, keep your dog on a leash as well, you know. But by the way, yeah, if you ever are facing a dog attack and, you know, they're happening to attack you, just remember, if you put a finger up their bum, you know, that's one way of stopping it. So just want to spread some knowledge as well, yeah? Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, but I actually saw a comment like that. People are punching them in the nose, and someone replied saying, don't do that, it'll just piss them off more and they'll keep biting you.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
I heard apparently you should hold their neck, because then that will show who's boss, and then it will say.
I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to choke.
I mean, if you get in a dog attack, I'll just pray for you.
Trust me. Yeah, I ain't into that freaky shit.
And do you know what I find annoying? Yeah, like when, like, for example, the girl, you know, the video of the girl in South London, she was like our age, like she was getting bitten up by 3 dogs, and the owner was like, "Stop running, don't run,
bruv,
don't run."
If you're telling me don't run, alright, don't tell me to don't run, bro. I'm running. Yeah, if I'm just gonna be calm there, no way, just standing still.
Like, no,
exactly.
I should just be there, like.
Yeah, taking it and stuff, nah, man.
What, so they can think that I'm boss? They already don't respect me, bro. Like,
exactly,
what are you
man.
Talking about, like, all these owners that run and be like, oh, don't run, don't worry, it's not gonna go, don't worry.
Yeah.
Move, man, put your dog on a fucking leash. Like,
nah, trust me.
I feel like also, like, I'm glad this conversation about xlbullies has risen up, because I feel like owners a lot of time need to take more accountability. Like, bro, if you know you can't train them, why are you owning them? If you know that you cannot deal with the dog.
Exactly.
That's what a lot of people will say though. They're blaming the dogs when really we should be blaming.
We should be blaming the owners. But we're not gonna put down the owners.
We can't put down the owners, and it's like you can't really differentiate who's a bad owner and who's a good owner. You can't, like, if I mean, you could say maybe if one owner's dog moves mad, you'd be like, okay, you can't have a dog anymore. But it's like we're still gonna have the problem of American xlbullies, because that just means they really have to be trained. Like, but it shouldn't have to be like that if they're trained. But I mean, a lot of these owners might say, I mean, I thought my dog was nice. Like, I thought my dog. Exactly. A lot of them will say,
I'm not a bad
dog. Exactly.
Is that the conversation in America of like gun control, for example? Yeah, where like a lot of Americans will defend the right to bear arms and to use guns and stuff, because they're like, when these mass shoot, like, there's nothing wrong with owning a gun. You know, you're protecting yourself, this, that, and the other. It's only, you know, these mass shootings, is these crazy people and stuff. You know, it's the owner of the gun, not the actual gun itself. But if you ban the guns, you're not gonna be in those situations in the first place. It's not gonna happen. Same way with the American XL bullies. Like if you ban the XL bullies, you're not gonna get like a lot more prominent dog attacks. Like it's gonna drastically like reduce. Of course, it will still happen every now and then with other breeds, but you're gonna notice a difference. 1,000,000%.
Like,
exactly.
why are we gonna
Better
take
safe
a
than
risk?
sorry.
Why are
Exactly.
you gonna be like, oh yeah, some gun owners are good, some gun owners are just using it for defense?
Yeah.
No, like bro, let's just get rid of all guns. 'Cause
Yeah.
that way we're just gonna reduce, you know, all of these
shootings.
all of these
Yeah, mass shootings and
Just like
stuff.
that, let's just get rid of all XL bullies.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's a simple solution. It may not. Sorry, XL bully owner out there. You may not like it, and I understand.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's just
I'm
unfortunate.
sorry.
I actually am. This week,
Yeah, like,
I genuinely,
I actually feel
I'm
sorry
laughing,
for the
but
owners, like-
I genuinely mean it. Like,
Especially if your dog isn't moving mad. But because
It's not
other
their
dogs are
fault.
moving mad, like,
Yeah,
you feel like
yeah.
your dog's being discriminated against. Like, I
we live in a
actually,
them
doggiest
down.
world, man.
Lol.
We live
Doggy
in a
dog
doggiest
world.
world.
Yeah. Nah,
Doggy
it's true,
dog
man.
world, but,
Nah, it's true, man.
Oh, I want to say more. Also, yeah. Basically, I remember like listening to like this like podcast, and like I think it was a Guardian podcast actually, and this animal behavior theorist specialist, she was talking about how like, you know, the concept of good dogs and bad dogs isn't really a good narrative to put out there, or a healthy narrative, because what is a good dog and what is a bad dog? And I sort of get that. I mean, obviously at the end of the day, like if the dog is namming up bare people, then it's obviously a bad dog.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, how do we define bad? Because at the end of the day, in the dog world, they're just doing what they feel like. To the dog, it's being a good dog. To that dog, I'm dealing with the threat.
Yeah.
If you come to my territory, or if I feel like I set something on you that's not safe, I'm gonna attack, and I'm defending me and mine, sort of thing. So, like, basically, is it fair to expect dogs to domesticate dogs, put them in cities where, you know, naturally that's not actually their natural habitat? They should really be in the wild. They're wild animals, really truly. But we domesticated them over centuries.
Because they've been domesticated for a long time now.
Yeah, to the point that they've obviously, a lot of them have evolved out of their, you know, aggressive tendencies that they used to have, whereas obviously some of them haven't, like XL bullies in the same way. But is it fair to basically hold them to human standards when they didn't ask to get put in cities? Like, for example, the dog that was in Birmingham, all it knows is there's a lot of people around it and it's pissed off about it. Like, bro, I'm not seeing nature, I'm just seeing bear man walking around me in Asda. What the hell? Like,
no, it's
that just shows that they're just not fit to be.
they're not
in
fit for our society.
Yeah.
But then is it fair to judge them for it and be like, oh, that's a bad dog? I mean, is it fair to attach human labels? Like, dogs don't understand morality in the same way we do. They don't understand, okay, killing is not good. Like, all they know is, I'm a wild animal, bro. Like, I feel like we put too much on them.
Yeah, they're just the protection and treats, literally. That's what they know. Just protection and treats.
Protection and treats.
Yeah, man.
We was wolves.
Yeah, man.
They're like, we was wolves, man.
Yeah, man.
Y'all turned us into this shit, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I remember when she said that, I was really like, oh, what are you talking about? And I was like, it's true. Like, I feel like it says a lot about like our relationship with animals, and the expectation that they should act like human beings, or like that idea that they like, you know, when people like, they give dogs too much credit sometimes. It's like, they're still just dogs. Like, they actually don't. They understand, but they don't really.
Yeah, they're not one of
understand.
us, kind of thing.
They're not one of us, and they never will be, and that's okay. But a lot of people who own pets as family, they see
Just
them as one of us.
like appreciate the differences almost. Like it's nothing bad. Like it's not a negative at the end of the day. You just have to like accept the reality kind of thing.
But a lot of people struggle to accept their reality because they're like, no, my dog is my family, and they're just like us, and they eat with us, and they, you know, they dress them in jumpers and whatever. But it's still a dog at the end of the day. And I guess that even raises another conversation about, like, you know, how people view, like, how certain dogs or certain animals, are given human status or close to human status, and certain animals aren't. Like, you know, someone from the West, like, I don't know if you remember that video from a couple years ago, this like white woman from, I think, England, like, was literally bugging out at people in China for keeping animals in I don't know if it was keeping dogs in a cage or whatever, but basically keeping animals in a cage, and like, she was like, and it's just like, okay, but like, some parts of the world, they generally eat dogs. Like, they generally eat dogs, and like, who are we to be like, oh yeah, not the dogs though. The chickens maybe, but not the dogs.
it's alright.
Like, you know,
Chickens, the turkeys, the
Yeah.
cows. Like, who cares about them? But the dogs know. Like, how, like,
Hands off.
It's like hands off. Like, how
Don't
are
touch
we
them.
able to make that distinction that dogs know, but every other animal basically?
yeah, that's such a human. It's just a social construct that we've attached to these things to give them more importance.
Baby pigs can be cute.
Yeah, man.
Piglets are so
Piglets are cute. Yeah.
are
If
so
we're talking about because one's cute, the other one ain't. Like, you know, you get some other animals that we eat that are cute. Lambs as well. you know, but they make up banging curry goat, you get me? So it's like, yeah, man.
No, but lamb is tasty. Bro.
Yeah. So that's probably how like certain Chinese people see it with dogs and stuff too. Like that's how they'll justify it. Exactly, man. They love it. Hey, that's a shout. I can't lie. But yeah, no. Nah, definitely. But yeah, man. So no, you're talking facts. It's true. Like, yeah, where do we draw the line? Almost like what do we constitute as it being all right and it being not, in terms of, because like for example in certain cultures like Hinduism, even like the ancient Egyptians and stuff, they put all animals on a pedestal, like you know there's like in Hinduism like an elephant is a god and stuff, and like you know there's stuff like that. Like I know with the Egyptians, you know, birds and stuff were gods too. Like there's lots of, that's why like Hindus are vegetarian, because they value like animal life a lot, you know, and stuff. And I think like even Buddhists too, I think if I'm not mistaken, like they don't kill, you're not allowed, like it's a sin to even kill like an ant or like a spider or something. So that's how like deep it goes. And stuff like that, but at least like they're consistent with it. I guess you could say.
At least it's all animals. Whereas we're here in the West,
selective.
Like, not the dogs, please.
Lots of hypocrisy.
Please, but it's like,
yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, I guess leading on to our next, you know, sort of topic, political topic. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, the UK has been given its go-ahead, specifically Scotland, Glasgow, has been given the go-ahead for the first ever drug-controlled room, and what that means is, there is a room in a few months, I believe, that will be where you can legally do drugs. And obviously, I think the room is more of a healthcare. It's part of a healthcare facility to basically support drug addicts.
It's not like a band or anything. Like it's not like just some massive like.
It's government funded, government controlled.
Government are putting in 7 million into creating a room where people could do Class A drugs. That's
in a controlled setting.
Yeah.
So people can do heroin.
In a cost of living crisis.
I know heroin is definitely one of them.
Cocaine. Probably crack as well.
Probably crack.
You could do anything there, bro. You could probably bring any drug you wanted to.
Do you think?
I mean,
they'll tell you to go to a park, man. They're like, what the fuck are you doing around here, man?
This
ain't hard enough. Are you even an addict?
Yeah, what the fuck, man? Yeah, because apparently that happens with like rehab, for example. Like when you go rehab as a like weed like drug addict, they're like they don't take you seriously and stuff. Like they're like, come on, man. Like, it's not that deep, man. Like just deal with it yourself.
Yeah, just get off of it for a couple of days, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but that's crazy though. That is mad, because I would have thought that even I don't understand how that works law-wise, because I thought like the possession of like a Class A drug is like a crime in itself.
Like, having it is a crime in itself, but how do you get to the room and do it there? Whereas like,
and it's all right.
You just
and
committed
stuff.
a crime in front of us, though. Like you showed us you have possession of a Class A drug, literally the highest amount of illegal drug there is.
The creme de la creme.
We're just gonna let you do it here. The creme de la creme of illegal drugs.
Exactly.
We're just gonna let you do it here. I mean, if we're looking at both sides, I understand why, in a way, it's a good idea.
I think it would help.
They're saying that it would eradicate, or not fully eradicate, but kind of like lessen the amount of like hard drug related deaths we have. If they
overdoses,
do it at like a controlled space where it's like monitored. I can't believe they actually want to monitor people to do like Class A drugs and that. It kind of it's a mad concept. It's a mad concept to me, but I do understand it, because they're basically saying, especially in Scotland, which is like has the highest death rate of Class A drugs in the whole of Europe. I get it, because this stuff is going to happen anyway. People are going to take Class A drugs anyway. So I guess if we can put them in a space where it's like they can do it and it's monitored, that will lessen like the amount of people who actually die from it.
And also, I do want to point out, I don't think the room is just for people to keep using drugs. I feel like the idea is people wean off of it in a more safe way. Rather than, obviously, at the end of the day, we know addiction's hard, isn't it? Like, so if you leave people to their own devices and they really try to stop cold turkey, they're going to get withdrawal symptoms, then they're going to go out back out and they're going to do it heavily. Do you get what I'm saying? And they won't do it in a safe way. They'll end up dying from it. So
there's people there that can like care for them and provide support
and
advice.
help them deal with their symptoms whilst they're withdrawing. So I think it's more about supporting them through the withdrawal process and getting them to gradually wean off of it for those who genuinely want to stop like being addicts, It's not like a weed cafe, but for like cocaine and like heroin users and stuff. It's not a coke cafe. It's not just come and smoke coffee.
I think it's really interesting that the room is for stuff like class A drugs, but not something like weed, which is class B. And I think if you ask yourself why it is like that, me personally, I feel like because weed is classified mostly as a black person drug, like it's classified as people, like when you look at weed, you think of black people.
You associate like Jamaicans and stuff like Bob Marley.
So there might even be a little element of racism. Could be. It doesn't make sense to me how you can create a room for class A drugs, but something like class B drugs, it's not. You're not. I'd say anywhere.
I'd say like ethnic minorities, 100%, because like for example, like like with like North Africans with like hash, hashish and stuff, like that's a big deal for them. So like I'd say like ethnic minorities do, obviously like white people, they love their weed too, but like weed, like ethnic minorities tend to kind of prefer weed and stuff, whereas like majority, most of the time in Britain, most people that do indulge in class A drugs are, white, people and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like obviously, like you said, Glasgow has a real problem with drug-related deaths. I think 1.3k people died last year, and it's been on the increase. So I think it's a desperate measure. Like it's something that's never been done before. So I feel like they really showing how desperate they are. It's just like our community's getting messed up with these drugs and all of these drug-related deaths to the point where we need to step in and do something because everything else isn't working. So I understand that. I understand the desperation. But at the same time, on the flip side, I can also understand how, it can almost be seen as sort of not encouraging, but it does. I don't know. It creates a leeway, if someone wants to be obtuse, they can be like, then you can't stop me.
Yeah, they can take the piss.
It's almost like giving a safe space for it, kind of. Even though, the premise of it is to give it a safe space so they can do it in the most healthy way
until they stop.
Exactly, and hopefully hoping that they wean off it. But I mean, if I was an addict, I could just be like, bro, I don't want to wean off this.
I'm just thinking you come back to this.
I want to do class A drugs, and you've literally given me a safe space to do class A drugs. I'm gonna come here. I'll act like I want to come off it, but really, truly, I'm gonna do my drugs here. I'm gonna come back in a couple hours there. I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah. But I'd say it also protects, I think, the wider public as well. Yeah. So for example, where I live, I live on an estate and stuff, and for example, sometimes on the stairs you'll see heroin needles and stuff like that, and for example, a child, one day, or a toddler could be, walking by one day, pick up the needle, put it in its mouth, or you never, how little kids love putting stuff in their mouths, anything that they see. So that could potentially, with needles and stuff, that passes a lot of diseases and a lot of, you could pass something on to the child. So it also does kind of take away the people going and doing the drugs on the streets in a enclosed environment and a safer place. I do give credit to Glasgow and Scotland for doing this, because they also done something similar with with knife crime and stuff. So they had a massive knife crime issue, and then this they're very innovative because then reduced knife crime. So they're probably doing the same now. They probably thought, this is a good idea. Let's give it a go, and who knows, maybe it will work. So credit to them. I mean, the Scots do tend to be more left wing and and stuff like that.
They think of new.
England. I don't see them doing this. Stuff like that.
I don't see England doing
we're a bit too conservative for that.
Not anytime soon, anyway.
I was gonna say what your point about the wider society. I actually didn't think of that because obviously, whilst there are cons to obviously creating a whole government controlled drug room, I actually kind of get it. Because it's if the addict is already an addict, then it was like a triage. It's already, it's done for them, but in the sense of why let it affect the wider community. At the end of the day, it's obviously this is something that they're going through and they're struggling with. So let's at least let them do it in private in a way that other people won't be affected. And I don't know if you guys have heard of broken window theory, politics, but this idea that if you go into an area and there's broken windows, graffiti on the walls, shit like heroin noodles, shit like heroin needles on the street and stuff, that lowers the value of the place, not just financially, but as in just on a social level, people respect that.
It's not as aesthetically pleasing and stuff,
pleasing, and it doesn't make the community that feels
there. It's what a shithole kind of thing.
It takes away the dignity of the people that live there. So what about these communities that the article, the BBC article where I found out about this room, in the article, it shows someone who's an addict, and he was showing the street like an alleyway full of needles in it, and he's like, "This is where we're doing it. If you don't give us this room, sort of thing." So is that fair that like that street is in a community somewhere in Glasgow, and little kids could want to play near that alleyway? So it's like, is it fair to now let someone's addiction, an individual's addiction, affect the community that said that to that point? So that's actually a good point. Yeah.
And it's naive to think that people won't do it. Like, yeah, sure, it's against the law, but people are still going to do hard drugs. And especially because when you look at it, a lot of the reasons why people do hard drugs is to do with stuff like trauma and stuff like that. So it's not even just people doing it for like the hell of it, just do it for fun. Like, people are really trying to block.
It's way deeper than that.
Yeah, exactly. It's way deeper than that. So it's not as simple as just like, oh, stop doing it, it's bad for you. Like, people use it as like crutches, like coping mechanisms.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a lot harder for people to just wean off it themselves. So I guess if we have these controlled spaces and people can do it there, and they're getting support at the same time, which I imagine what the purpose of the room will be. Sure, they're probably posing as, sure, like, you can do drugs here, it's safe here, do it here. They'll probably have someone talking to them thinking, oh, why are you doing these drugs?
And hopefully some sort of therapy.
Yeah, it might even turn into like therapy. You know what I mean? Like maybe.
Yeah, so, conversation stuff.
I hope so. Like I hope so. I hope it's not just like a room where they're just like, okay, go do it in there, and then just do it and they leave. I hope it's not like that. Like,
it's like coaching. Like, okay, all right, cool. So you did 2 yesterday. You used 2 noodles.
Why did you say noodles?
Did you eat Indomie yesterday or something? Like, what the hell? She's got noodles on her head.
Maybe you used 2 needles yesterday. Yeah. Today you're on 1. That's progress.
No, it's true. Do you know what it is? Yeah, it's like, as long as you've like, it's almost like as long as they've tried to kind of like reduce it, that's like the main thing. Like, even if it doesn't work, like the effort's there, kind of thing,
They're
and
trying
stuff.
something new, and obviously we all know. Typically conservative policies like more police presence and all of that. It doesn't always work. Like if people are gonna do drugs anyways, you're just gonna make them hide and do it, and then you're gonna create more of a black market, and you're gonna get people who are just like,
it's not like a conversation. Like, it's more like in the dark and whatnot. Like you don't like question like, oh, why did you get on it, kind of thing. Like, you're not. It's not. You take away like the human kind of element to it and stuff. So yeah, that's true.
Like it restores their dignity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like okay. Sorry, the noodles. What's it? So yeah, the third sort of policy, or rather political approach or whatever that we want to like sort of talk about was the trans issue. So obviously Rishi Sunak. Do you guys want to give more context? Because I think you might.
So Rishi Sunak, I remember they were talking about like transgenders like using like the opposite toilet and stuff like that. And Rishi Sunak basically came out and said like transgenders aren't allowed to use transgender people aren't allowed to use like the opposite sex bathroom. So if they transition into a man, I think they can't use a man's bathroom. Or I think it's more like to do with the women. Like if you transition to be a transgender woman, you can't use a woman's bathroom. And Sunak said like word for word is like, a man is a man and a woman is a woman. So that was like literally Rishi Sunak's words. Like, and I think a lot of people have that sentiment, but I think for the British Prime Minister to come out and say it like flat like that, I feel like that's a bit much. Like,
it's mad.
I feel like especially if the British people saw another like European giant say something like that, the public would react like, oh, how can you say that? It was supposed to be like a free country, people, and people would like. They would kind of look up like down on someone. Yeah,
like be respectful and stuff. Yeah, like, because we always have those kind of that kind of energy for like different parts of the world. Like maybe like the Middle East and stuff, or like Africa, Asia and stuff. Exactly. So to hear like someone from the liberal and like the Western world say something like that so openly, it's like whoa, this is taken back because you don't hear stuff like that. With that, so but it just goes to show how like conservative the Conservative Party really is, and how they're going down that route, and it's just getting worse and worse and stuff now.
Like I think it's probably the Conservative Party. Like I can't imagine David Cameron saying.
Yeah, no, me neither.
It's more conservative than it's been in a long time.
Yeah. Maybe I think Boris Johnson showed like a shift. I said Johnson. Boris Johnson like showed maybe a shift towards like.
Is that Brexit? Because he became the prime minister as a result of Brexit.
More like conservative ideology, maybe. Like I don't even imagine Theresa May saying something like that. But I think Boris Johnson showed like there's a shift more towards like a more conservative mindset. And I think now it's like probably hitting like a peak.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But what do you guys think? Do you think like Sunak do you think he's right in saying that? Like, do you think that's even a policy that can be made to say that?
I mean,
you guys can't use those toilets?
do you know what it is? Yeah, I think him saying that in particular is a bit mad in terms of a man is a man and a woman is a woman. But I do understand in terms of him, like policy wise, I do get it because, you know, like for example, I can see in terms of like from a safety standpoint why, you know, that kind of policy would be important because, like, for example, you know, like, let's say, you know, a woman's toilet and stuff, you know, you get a man going in there, but they, you know, you're like, oh, okay, you're alarmed and stuff, like, what are you doing here? And then they're like, oh, I identify as a woman. You know, you'd maybe
Now
feel a lot
really say
uncomfortable
nothing,
and
innit?
stuff,
Yeah.
but exactly, and I'm sure, you know, there's probably people out there that would, like, take advantage of that and do that, and then, you know, that's a place for maybe sexual assault or something.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know it's speculation, but it's almost that kind of thing that we were talking with the dogs in terms of it's better safe to be sorry. You know, it's kind of,
But if
you know.
if that was what Sunak's like main
Exactly.
reasoning behind the word,
Exactly.
that would be way more understandable.
more Exactly.
He's basically saying that
I just don't believe in
I
it.
don't believe in
So we're gonna
transgender is, so
implement
it's
that.
gonna be like you can't like
Yeah.
that's basically
I
what
don't
he's saying.
acknowledge you. I don't
Yeah.
accept what you're telling me you are.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm not going to create policies that are shaped around you.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
going to include you in our politics. That's basically what it is, and that's why I can fully get why trans people are like gonna like react badly to that to that statement because he like obviously they're asking for you to make toilets inclusive to them, and you're telling them no because I don't even recognize what you think you are.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
True.
a wild thing to do, but there is a.
And like I said before, like a lot of people would actually agree with Sunak's like rhetoric where he's coming from because of like a religious standpoint, but because of the country we live in a secular country. Like, we live in, like you said, a separatist country as well. Like religion is completely separate from our daily lives and how we're supposed to be governed. So if that's and when someone says a man is a man and a woman is a woman, I think of a religious standpoint. That's the only way I can think that's.
When you hear something like that, a religious person is saying that.
Yeah. So if he's going with that, then he's already ruling in a way that's not correct. Bear in mind the country that we live in.
Like the fact that the country is secular, Britain, we are inclusive. Yes, we're a Church of England nation, but our policies and laws are not reflected in that, are not embedded within religion. Therefore, if you have a people and you know they have needs, it's only right that you accommodate their needs at least. But then, like you said, Adrian, I think it is a fair argument. Like, you know, at the end of the day, how would that make cis women, you know, feel like people, you know, who are women and have identified as women?
And they're the majority at the end of the day. So we'd be accommodating for the few and stuff like
at
that.
the expense of some women who would feel uncomfortable. Because I remember having a conversation with a friend about this when I lived in France, and she was like to me like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really hear all that. Like, I don't have any issue with trans people, but would I, for example, want a trans woman to look at, if a doctor to look at my vagina? Like, would I feel comfortable with that? Like, do I recognize she's a woman to the point where I put on the same exact same level as a cis woman? No.
I feel like it's a thing where like most people probably would, because this is how it is in Britain, they just go about their own business. It's like, you know, you do you. At the end of the day, if you want to transition, you know, change your sex and stuff, that's completely fine. You know, it's got nothing to do with me. But then when it then affects you and you're then seeing it firsthand and whatnot, then it's different because exactly because then, you know, it's, like I said, it's actually affecting you. So you as a woman or whoever it may be, you therefore have a right to say if you don't necessarily agree with it. So that's what I'm saying. I do understand where Rishi Sunak is coming from in terms of like, you know, with not kind of trying to accommodate for the transgender people, but like it's not coming from a good place. So
that's the thing. It's where it's coming from. But also even the sexual assault argument, like the idea that, you know, a lot of incels and stuff may pose as, you know, women just to get into the toilet with a woman and, you know, pretend that they're trans women. That's okay, cool. That could happen. But in terms of numbers wise, realistically, like, that's not going to be the majority of trans women that are using women's toilets.
And I feel like that detracts from like the real. Like,
no, but I'm saying,
but you're actually out there.
But no. But I was
it's such a few people that would abuse.
No. But when I said it was, I'm saying like literally just like a tapped guy, like not even like that's what I'm saying. Not even a transgender person.
I know.
Just,
saying,
like they're
you're
probably
saying,
like
a cis guy would pretend to
not
be
trying to get cancelled. I was trying for my life.
You're so silly, but like you're saying like a cis guy would abuse
the
policy
and claim
that he's trans just to be in a...
Because you can't dispute it. You can't. You don't know. You actually don't know. That's the thing.
What we're saying is that's such a small... Like, okay, maybe one in every person that does it would, you know what I mean? Like, most people would be genuinely trans women who just genuinely want to live a life of womanhood in peace. So I think whilst that is valid, it's a valid argument. I think people use that so much as a quick way to shut down to shut down things, and it's just like it's not really fair.
That's
like,
not fair.
Because
what about the people who are actually transgender women? Like, that's what the argument has to be centered around, because
there's always gonna be the
there's always gonna be weirdos, but there's actually people who are just trying to live a normal life in their transition. You know what I mean? So you got whether you think like whether you agree with people being able to be like a transgender or not, it's something that's able to happen. So we've got to find a way to kind of incorporate it into our society.
But I also hear about it on a conservative level from like a political standpoint. Why it's like hell no. Like obviously the man is a man, woman's a woman narrative. Like I don't agree with that, but I do understand why he's thinking. But I'm a conservative. You expect me to create this policy? Like what? What would that say about me? I'm not conservative anymore. Then it deviates from everything I stand for. And it's a big ask. You know, like go ask a Labour Prime Minister for that. Like you know, you can't be asking. Like no conservative Prime Minister is going to be the one to actually say, yeah, you know what? Transgender people use your desired toilets. That's a big shift. What all the rest of the country saying?
Sturmer even came out and agreed with Sunak as well. He basically agreed with his sentence.
Even the Labour!
Oh, damn.
The Labour!
Tory in disguise.
He's saying that, bro. Like, so,
Labour.
I don't know, man. It's like, I don't see Britain moving in that direction just yet. Maybe another 5-10 years. But for now, I'm sorry.
Gender free toilets are mad, you know. Like I don't know, it's so crazy. Like every time I've been in one, and then I come out and I'm just there washing my hands, and then there's just a woman like walking past. I'm like, what? Like this kind of mad, you know. Like because you know how like the woman's toilet is like a big deal. Like you know, it's like oh my god, like I'm gonna go to the toilet, and then bruv, like a group of flipping 6 of you guys go to the toilet, and that for whatever reason, I don't know, discussing international relations or where you know are there for time and whatever, but now I'm joking. Now more times probably just to like gossip and do your makeup and stuff. But it's just crazy because that's like a girl's like safe space in like an outside environment, and that when they need to like regroup
freshen
and like exactly,
especially in a nightclub,
and like talk tactics and stuff, and like like just speak and stuff, and like for a guy and a woman to like be together in the same space, like it's something new, like it's something like crazy and just alien to me and stuff, and it's like startled. I mean, no, I don't have a personal problem with it, but it is just kind of like something weird because it's becoming more of like a thing nowadays, especially in like more like liberal places like Camden and like Soho and stuff, where there's like more of like a kind of like community and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say something actually, like in terms of like women's toilets, like especially in a nightclub, like women's toilet in a nightclub is where the party's at. Like in the nightclub, I say, oh my god,
the snaps, making snaps and stuff,
and you make friends with people that you've never seen before and you'll never see again. But in that moment, they feel like you're best friend.
You're gorgeous, babe. Oh my god, you too. And all of that.
And you see people crying about their boyfriend who's just done them. Suddenly,
fuck him, you don't deserve you.
You're too good.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And you lot met each other like 5 seconds ago. You don't know that one was a bitch.
No, nothing. You're never gonna see each other again.
Nah, facts.
That literally happened to me in Leeds when I was like in uni. I met some girl and we chopped it up, and I was like, oh my goodness, let's keep in contact. I've never seen her ever again. If she walked right past me on the street, I would not know who that woman is. Like,
so that's what I'm saying. But like, imagine if like the man and that's all corporate. Like, if that was just a change and stuff like that, would just be.
I don't imagine that ever
crazy.
being like the norm though. Like I don't imagine. I wouldn't even want genderless toilets to be the norm.
Even changing rooms, like not even like for example in a what's it called, in a clothes shop. Don't know why that took me so long to remember, but like in a Zara, like a H&M and stuff, like they try and like segregate it as well too. But that's another place where if they weren't to, that would be crazy as well.
I think that distinction is so important just because of how real and how common sexual assault is. Like I don't feel like it's such a valid thing. Like
like nearly every girl I know has had some kind of experience.
Genderless toilets for me should never be a norm, but I guess that kind of leaves out like transgenders, like because they're just like, okay, what gender am I? Because I've transitioned, and you said I can't use the toilet that I was transitioning to. So it's
so now I
like
have to use-
basically I'm toiletless right now.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about that trans woman who went to prison? Or rather, I think it was a man that went to prison, right? And
because even prison is a tough
that's
one as
another-
well.
Yeah, that's the gender
Yeah.
space. Female prisons, male prisons, and women's prisons. So it's like, you know, what do we do then? Because like I think there was a man that went to a male prison, and then he started saying he was a woman, so he could go to a women's prison, because obviously women's prison is a little bit less.
Yeah. Probably like.
And apparently after
Less dangerous.
he started having sex with the women in the prison.
Yeah,
after.
exactly.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so you heard about it.
Yeah, I know the story.
So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's a complex.
Because wait, was he claiming to be a transgender woman?
after he was in prison.
Oh.
He was already a man in prison.
Okay, because I was gonna say at the same time it could be a thing where like maybe the men on the prison they then like maybe try and rape them because they're like, you know, you're like the woman in here kind of thing in the prison. So I could understand like them leaving on safety reasons to like a woman prison.
That's
and
why
stuff.
they would move them.
But then it's like, yeah, for all we know, you know, then they end up having sex with the women there. So it's just yeah, man.
That's why they moved her, because they were like, okay, well, it's just like basically, I guess anyone could really just. Any man that goes to prison, any cis man that goes to prison, once you're in prison, you can actually just be like, I'm trans, and you don't have to move you for your safety, because otherwise you're just gonna get raped to pairs. So it's like, and it's like, you know, if people know they can always fall back on that, you know, it goes back to the toilet thing. Some people would abuse it and be like, okay, yeah, I'm a trans person, when they deep down they're not trans. They don't actually identify as trans.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like
it's a hard one.
It's an anomaly in it. So I guess we just have to trust the good of those who are genuinely trans and who genuinely just want to live their lives in peace and in the identity that they believe that they are, and trust that the cis people won't abuse it, I guess.
But putting trust in people is difficult too, though, you know.
difficult,
Like
that's
obviously
difficult.
that might be a topic for another day, you know. Maybe like in terms of if people are like evil or if people are actually good and stuff, innit? Like what are we inherently? So you know, putting trust in people is a difficult one. Like people do abuse a lot of the time, you know, the freedoms that you know that they get and you know laws and stuff.
100%.
So
And I guess that's what brings us back to, you know, do you have to be a father as a state? Like the government, like I get why sometimes there's a paternalistic approach in government and in policies, because it's like sometimes people do dumb shit. People do evil shit. Like you can't always trust that every human being is good intentions. So that's why we need laws to keep people in check and policies as well. So I understand the paternalistic approach sometimes, but then sometimes I don't agree with it, and you know, but it's a complex one. But I think the running trend we've seen in all the three topics we've analysed right now, like, you know, the bulldogs, the banning of the bulldogs, the drug control.
yeah. I feel like the with the Bulldogs one, with the xlbullies, like with banning them, I don't mind like the government getting involved there, but then in certain other stuff, I'm like, like for example with the transgender stuff, I don't think there's as much of a need to get
How
involved.
do you determine how does the government know when they're crossing
I guess
the
when
line?
people are dying, because bulldogs are dying. With trans people, no one's dying. Like, you know, if a trans woman uses a woman's toilets, no one's necessarily going to die from it. And yes, on the off chance, there might be a cis man who kills a woman. But, you know, realistically, that's not just a toilet thing. Cis men be killing women anyway. So it's not just a toilet thing. So I think the bulldog one calls for intervention. For me personally, that's what I would think. The drug one, I think calls for intervention because people are dying as well. The trans one, nah, like just let people use the toilet that they identify as using, I guess, until there's a reason why for some reason people are dying. And if you see a massive spike in toilet sexual assault, then you can address the issue, I guess. But up until then, I guess just trust that people will use it for good. For most people, you know. I think that's the general consensus.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyways, here's some sort of conclusion, I guess, on that. But you know, guys, feel free to put your opinions in the comments. We're always looking forward to hearing them, and because we know that everything we discuss is like very, you know, opinion based and nuanced. So nothing is ever completely right, completely wrong. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. But follow us on all social media platforms. Subscribe. The link down below.
The link's in the description.
The link is in the description. Thank you. I've been Estelle.
I've been Adrian.
I've been IK.
This is Philoso3. See ya.